Wow.
Me.
Yeah.
Shocker.
All right. How many of you have ever asked somebody, "Oh my goodness, what is that app?" Or "What does that app do?" Okay. How many of you were like, "Could you tell me? Have you downloaded any wonderful applications lately?" Does anybody talk like that? No. Okay. But really, do you guys know the app is short for application, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. Learn something new.
Learn something
Hopefully you
new.
learn a little more than that tonight, we're hoping. But, so app is short for application. Application is a program, it's a piece of software that's designed and written to fulfill a particular purpose for that user, okay? So the Bible is used to solve our problems. Look at you guys using your heads tonight. That for every single issue that you're ever going to deal with, okay? So whether it is how to be a kid, there's an app for that in the Bible. If it's how to be a teenager, there's an app for that in the Bible. If how to be a mom, there's an app for that in the Bible. Hopefully you guys have been that for a while, okay? Same for being a father, right? The Bible is full of applications that you use and download into your spirit to use for all kinds of things that you face. All right, let's think of something a little bit more relevant, something a little deeper, right? Anybody ever dealt with depression before? Or know somebody that dealt with depression, right? There's an app for that, right? There's an application, there's something in the Bible that you can pick up and read, and that will fix those things. There are apps literally on your phone to do nearly everything. There's apps to tell you how long you should brush your teeth for. So if you have a hard time knowing, you download this app, you push it, and then you start brushing your teeth, and then it goes off at the right time, so you brush it long enough, right?
Oh,
it has become so bad, I'll tell you about Pastor Anthony, it has become so bad that he will not pick up fast food for us unless we order it through an app, because then he knows that he gets the order right, because he doesn't have to say it. So I have to look and say, well, it looks like the options are Taco Bell or McDonald's or whatever there's an app for, because now we can order our food right here.
I got short-term memory, so.
Right? I was going crazy. This past week I found an app called Mondays, and what it is it's like to-do lists. And so like you make to-do lists for everything in your life that you need, and then you can send them out. And I was telling everybody, I was like, it's the best app in the whole world. And you know the sounds you just made, Logan? Oh. That's what they were all making for me. I was like, guys, look at this. I'm like, this is the best app in the whole world. Nobody else agreed with me, but I thought it was great. There's all kinds of, yes.
Is there a Grove app?
There is a Grove app.
Really?
Yes. There's all kinds of wonderful apps. There's apps. There's apps for everything. There's apps for Kroger grocery store. It's a great one. Okay, who has Snapchat? Anybody use Snapchat?
Yeah.
What did we do before we could make ourselves look like a bunny and talk like a chipmunk? I mean, what in the world was our life like before we had that app? Super boring. Okay, we got YouTube, right? Like who uses the YouTube app? Yeah, everybody been using that YouTube app
all day, every day.
right? And then you got the people using Facebook app, right? People still use that, right? Right? Okay, good. All right.
What?
You know,
I barely use.
when I was a teenager,
Facebook
if you had
big thing.
no, there wasn't a Facebook.
Well, no.
Make this sound like
No. It was
MySpace,
MySpace.
yes.
Oh.
Me and Pastor Anthony used to talk to
Wait,
MySpace, but that wasn't an application.
Yes.
So here's what I'm going to tell you guys. Here's what I'm going to tell you, right? When I was a kid, or teenager, and they had this thing called email, and I was B Piglet 88.
Bee Piglet?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Bee Piglet?
Yeah, that was me. Okay.
Wait, where did
I was Big Piglet and my friend was Little Piglet. Okay. So just telling you, right? So this was us, and we had AOL dial-up internet. So like you waited and you hoped for a check mark so you could actually check it, right? And so you would check your email, and only super modern people had email. If you had email, you were awesome, okay? Now, do you know that people don't even use email hardly? Everybody uses Facebook Messenger or text messaging. There's all these apps. There's all these apps that we talk. I have to have 6 different apps just to communicate with you. And we're not even that big of a group, right? And I have 6 apps just to talk to you guys, right? So there's apps for everything. There's an app if I want to make my square photos, and then there's a different app if I want to make horizontal photos, and then I have a different app if I'm feeling crazy and I want a widescreen photo, right? So I mean, there's literally an app for everything that your mind could possibly imagine, dream of, and think of. There's an app so that you can live a fake life on there, you know? Like, I downloaded it and I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, literally, what would you do? Would you eat mac and cheese or chicken? I'm like, why don't we nap it and go to my...
Wait,
Yeah,
what
I'm
app?
gonna check it
What?
out, see what it was
No,
before I talked about all
There's
those
this
things.
app called like Life Simulator. It's like where like you create like a child and then like you like
Why do I know exactly what you're talking about?
you like and then you find out like what like who died and all that. Stuff like that. No,
Sounds
it's not
interesting.
that.
Okay,
Show me
Just
that.
look it up.
so
Yeah.
she said, show me
I
that.
want that.
I didn't want it.
So there's all kinds of apps for just about everything you can think of in your mind, right? There's an app for cleaning, yes.
They clean someone's house.
That's very
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. So we live in a time where there's literally an app for everything, right? But the Bible was invented long before phones or little icons that we call apps. And the Bible is full of applications for every area of your life. So tonight we're going to talk about the app called dun, 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 Fear.
I like it.
Okay? All right? So this is, how many of you have ever opened up your phone and you're like, oh my goodness, why is this app downloading? Like, how did it get here? Right? How did I get this app? And so what happened is, sometimes we have this thing in our family, it's like a linked phone thing. So if Pastor Anthony downloads an app, it appears
Oh,
on my
then it
phone.
appears that you're.
Or, you know,
Yeah,
okay.
we-
So I have that. It is horrible. And so every once in a while I'll look and I have Food Network or some kind of like game where you chase a dot around a dot and I know Terry downloaded something, right? Because I'm like, oh my goodness. And then all of a sudden it goes boom, 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 and there's like 5 new ones and then I know it's her. But anyway, so what happens is there's an app for that. I mean, there's apps, and what happens is sometimes you get apps downloaded onto your phone that you don't want, right? And so you have to delete them and get them off there because they're taking up space and they're wasting your screen and they're wasting your memory and you don't want it. Well, Fear is one of those apps. Fear is an app that you want to delete as soon as it gets downloaded because the longer it stays on, the more memory it takes and the faster it drains your battery. How many of you have an app that you just, even though you like it, you don't hardly use it because it drains your battery? Does anybody have an app like that? Waze. Yeah, right? Certain apps, they just drain your battery. I'm telling you, fear empties you out. This is what it says in Psalms 27. I love this passage. So this passage of Scripture is one that I quote and I said for many years. It's a great one. So this is a good app to know. So the first 3 verses in Psalms 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even mine enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and they fell. Though a host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war would rise against me, in this will I be confident. Isn't that awesome?
Is that the breakthrough song?
You guys should sing that song, No Longer Slave to Fear.
Yes, right? That's what we're supposed to sing.
That's
That's what
the pink dots? That's we quick. should sing it.
So here's what I'm going to tell you. Listen to this. I'm going to read you the same verse, but in the Message translation. I've never read it in the Message translation until I was getting ready for this message tonight. And I was like, you guys are going to love this. As much as I loved it in the other translation, you guys are going to love this one. So here's what it says in the Message. Light, space, zest, that's God. So with him on my side, I am fearless. I am afraid of no one and nothing. When vandal hordes ride down, ready to eat me alive, those bullies and toughs, they just fall flat on their faces. When besieged, I'm calm as a baby, and when all hell breaks loose, I'm collected and cool.
Which verse is that?
Psalms 27. That's the Message translation. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so this is what you have to do. If the enemy has downloaded fear in your life, and all hell breaks loose in your life, you're not collected and cool. You're scared and terrified and do nothing. That's what happens to you. This is what fear means. Fear is an unpleasant emotion that's caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous and is likely to cause you pain or is a threat to you. The devil desires to make you afraid, just like he is driving me nuts with this phone that I thought was on silent. Okay, so here's what I'm telling you. He's coming at you to make you so afraid that there is something dangerous, something that's going to happen to you, a threat against you to keep you from fulfilling all that God has for you. Maybe you're afraid to speak up, because if you speak up with something, maybe you will lose a friend. Maybe you're afraid of your future because you don't know what your future looks like, and maybe your future doesn't look very good, and maybe you're afraid you're never going to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or maybe you're afraid you're never going to have a job, or maybe you're afraid that if you don't get the right kind of clothes on, somebody's going to think you're unpopular, and whatever it is. Weird things. We're afraid of all kinds of stuff. These weird things that get downloaded into our brains by the enemy that causes us to live in constant panic that we're in a dangerous situation when we're really not. Because the King of the world, the Lord of creation, the star breather, that God is on our side if we're living for him. So we have nothing to be afraid of. Psalms 56 says this, "Oh God, have mercy on me, for people are hounding me. My foes attack me all day long. I'm constantly hounded by those who slander me." Anybody ever been slandered? Maybe at school, maybe even online. Somebody talking bad about you. Somebody making you out to look like you're yucky. And you're like, what's happening? Many are boldly attacking me. But when I am afraid, I will put my trust in you. That's what he says. He says, when that fear comes upon me, because you can't have fear and faith. They cannot work together. You cannot have fear and faith downloaded on the same life. You can't have it, you can't have it, you can't have it, I can't have it. None of us can have fear and faith at the same time. Fear overtakes faith, and faith overtakes fear. You can't have one. You can't have both. You have to have one or the other one. Listen to this. This is a fact done by some surveyors. This was, I believe, 2016. So it's a couple years old, but it should be pretty accurate still. Okay, it turns out 85%. Would you guys say 85% is a good high percentage?
Yep.
Yeah. What if you guys were looking and you guys were taking a, what test are you guys taking now? It's called a
PSAT?
Yes, PSAT, and you got an 85%. Would you be okay with that?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, okay, 85%. Pretty good percentage. 85% of what your subjects, people, okay, what people worry about never happen. 85% about what you're afraid of, what you think of, what you worry about, 85% of it will never happen. And with the 15% that did happen, so in 15% of what you're afraid of, they say that's what happens. 79% of that 15%, so almost all of that 15%, said that they discovered what they were so afraid of, they actually handled it much better than they expected, or that it taught them a lesson that was worth learning. Okay, so 85% of it didn't happen, and 15% of it happened, and almost all of that 15% wasn't even near as bad as they thought it was going to be. We're talking about a couple percent of things actually working the way we think. And sometimes we get so worried. I'm afraid that I'm not going to do this. I'm afraid I'm going to miss out on this. I'm afraid this person's going to think this way. I'm afraid I'm going to end up like this. I'm afraid this is going to end this way. I'm afraid this is going to happen. I'm afraid of whatever. We get so afraid. I'm afraid I'm going to have that sickness. I'm afraid I'm never going to pass this grade. I'm afraid I'm never going to get to go here. I'm afraid that my family is going to end up like this. I'm just so afraid about it all. It's really silly. Matthew chapter 10, verse 26 through 31 says this, "But don't be afraid of those who threaten you, for the time is coming when everything that is covered will be revealed, and all that is in secret will be made known to all. What I tell you now in the darkness, shout abroad when the daybreak comes. What I whisper in your ear, shout from the rooftops for all to hear. Don't be afraid of any one of those who want to kill your body. They cannot touch your soul. Fear only God, who can destroy both soul and body in hell. What is the price of 2 sparrows? 1 copper coin? But not a single sparrow can fall to the ground without your Father knowing it. And the very hairs on your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. You are more valuable to God than a whole flock of sparrows." How many of you brushed your hair today? Most of you. Okay? All right. And what happens when we brush our hair? Right? We lose what? Hair. Okay, so how many of you are keeping an accurate count of how many hairs are on your head? I was like, wow! That's not not something we do, okay? I mean, if I told you, could you, just for a week, could you keep track of your hairs on your head? You would say, well, I'm too busy for that. I got way more important things to do than count my hairs on my head. But God, the creator of the universe, keeps track of the hair on your head. He loves you. And he doesn't want you to be afraid. Fear has to get taken out of our lives. We have got to delete that app and replace it with something different. And so there's a bazillion verses. In Marissa's speech, as she was talking, there's 365 verses, she told us, right?
Yep.
About fear. There's one for every day. There's an application to defeat fear every single day. So fear is something I want you guys to delete out of your lives.